G'day, brethren. The good captain here from CapnsKustomWorks, back with another episode of my beer reviews. Now, this one's pretty exciting for me today because I've got an excellent, semi-local, regional brewer here that I'm quite fond of. I haven't tried nearly their full line yet, but the things I've had from them over the years have been pretty darn tasty, and I'm hoping this one's going to be no different. Now, this is the Central Waters Brewing Company, and what I have today from them is their Brewhouse Coffee Stout. And that's not just a clever name. Actually, the coffee that they use comes from a local fair trade coffee house, MEJ's, also up in the Wisconsin area. MEJ's is in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, not too far away. Central Waters Brewing Company is now, for the past several years, in Amherst, Wisconsin, all up in the Madison-ish area. And they've only been around since '96, actually. So not the oldest of breweries, but they've been going strong and putting out some good brews. Had another one of their stouts just the other day, in fact, with some buddies of mine. Came over and brought their, I believe it was their Solitude Stout, quite good. And in taking a look at their website again, it reminded me that these are actually the guys that made Cosmic Charlie's Y2K quite a few years ago. I had that one, and they re-released it, if I'm not mistaken, only a couple years ago. Did a limited re-release of that, and it was good stuff. So hopefully this is going to be good stuff as well, because I am a huge coffee fan, as some of you probably know. And not only that, but I've been in a huge coffee mood today, possibly even more so than normal. To the extent that I actually have a quart mason jar of some freshly made iced mocha that I'm going to be drinking the rest of the afternoon. Well, not the rest of the afternoon, because I can't make it last that long. But after this, I'm going to move right on to my next coffee, and then maybe I'll make some more coffee, and then we'll have some coffee, and then for dinner I'll eat coffee, and then I'll drink some coffee, and then we'll have some coffee for dessert. I do love coffee. So, I've heard good things about this beer. Beer Advocate rated it very highly. A 94 Beer Advocate rated that. This is not bad. That's good. I trust those dudes. They got some good opinions. This, I believe it doesn't say on the bottle, which is why I had to look it up. This is an 8.2 ABV on this. 8.2% alcohol by volume. Not too bad, you know. Stouts are a tricky bunch. You have some incredibly stern stouts, and then you have some stouts that you'd think would be a lot sterner than they are. Like Guinness, for example. Everybody thinks Guinness is, oh, it's so strong. No, it's dark. It's not strong. Guinness is like 4%, which is why I drink it when I'm out, because it's readily available, and I don't have to worry about getting myself home after I have a pint or two, because it's not all that strong. But this one at 8.2, it's getting up there a little bit. Not the sternest thing in the world, but definitely a little more so. It's a nice looking pour. Smells good. One of the interesting things I've noticed in the years about coffee stouts in particular, because I do love them and I've had quite a few, some of the coffee stouts are actually fairly caffeinated as well, to the extent that it's not your standard feeling, shall we say. You don't drink one that's, and this is not all of them, of course, but sometimes this happens. You can get some that are fairly strong, but you drink it and you're like, I don't know. I mean, I feel ready to get up and jog. That happens once and again because there's so much coffee packed in there as well. AleSmith, who's a brewery I quite like. They tend to make some stern beers over at AleSmith, and their Speedway Stout is so heavily coffeed. I think it's like a 12%. Pretty darn stern. But I drank an entire, and it doesn't come in a 22 either. It comes in my mind's blank. You know, the big bottle, wine bottle size. And I drank an entire one of those the first time I tried it because it was delicious. I put it all away, and I'm like, that was, I know that was a Stern beer, but I feel like my usual caffeinated self. So we'll see how this is. Looks good, nice and dark, which I enjoy in a stout. Again, everybody's tastes are different, and these are just mine, so share yours if you got different opinions, by all means. The head is not creamy, I wouldn't say. Maybe thick, but not creamy. It did die down fairly quickly, which interestingly enough is opposite what I heard a couple people comment on, so I don't know. I usually find I have the opposite problem a lot of times for some reason. I don't know why. Beers get a little thicker head that just don't seem to want to go away. For me, it's my luck. This one went down fairly quick, and I heard a few people say that it really didn't. It just smells absolutely delicious. Let's have some, shall we? Or I. Sorry. Wow. To begin with, oh, it's coffee. Very, very richly coffee flavored. The stout flavors aren't as pronounced. The coffee is really, really at the fore with this beer. Very, very strong coffee flavor. But not a disappointingly strong. It's not difficult to drink. I don't recall if they said what coffee they used in this. No, it does not say what. And the website for MEJ's coffee didn't mention this either. Amusingly enough, the website for Central Waters didn't list this particular brew either. I don't know when. I've only got a front label and it's not real full of info, which you guys might know I don't particularly care for. I like more info on my beers. The fact that I had to look up the ABV in of itself was a little disappointing, but, you know, if the beer's good, then that'll outdo that small detail. But I did find it odd that Central Waters didn't have this on their website right now, and they did list a lot of their seasonal and limited brews and stuff like that, but this one wasn't on there. So I wish I knew what kind of coffee it was, because it's got a very bright flavor. It's not a heavy, like, French roasty sort of a coffee, which is, French roast is what my wife prefers, so that's what we drink a lot of, which is fine. My favorite coffee of all time is Ethiopian. I love it. You ever get Jefe? Good stuff. Good stuff. And that's got a brighter note to it. This coffee definitely has kind of a bright note to it as well. A little, some might say, fruity when you're describing coffees. It's got that acidity a little bit, which isn't to say it's sour. It's just bright. More like you'd expect the brightness out of an IPA. This is not an IPA by any means. Oh, drinking and talking. That's what we're doing here. This is good. I like it. Now, this will be the real test. I like it a lot. I want to drink it all. How quickly can I do so? Because I'm doing this for you guys. If this was me, I would sip on this for a while. This is the kind of beer I would kick back with this 22 in my hand, wander around for a while, do what I'm doing, work on some art, play a little music, swig it out of the bottle. But this show isn't about me. It's about you guys. And why you need to seek help because you're paying attention to a person like me. That being said, you know what time it is? Accelerated motion. Alright, brethren, time to slow it back down again. Oh, I'm just about in heaven right here. This is a very good beer. Would I say it's the best beer I've ever drank? No, I wouldn't say that. I have a hard time saying that about any beer, though. That's just me. Would I say it's right up near the top of beers that, for my personal taste, I enjoy a great deal? Yeah, this is a really nice beer. Now, I can also imagine that that might not be the case for the vast majority of the population. I love beer, I love coffee, and not only that, I do love putting them together. I love those bold coffee-flavored beers. And that's a comment that I've heard from some other folks that are not real big coffee beer fans, particularly not real big stout fans, because that also comes into play. I've heard with a couple other beers, people say, oh, it's good, but there's just so much coffee flavor. Well, this beer is good, and there is so much coffee flavor. That cannot be overstated. That is absolutely the case with this beer. Lots and lots of coffee flavor. Now, I think it's a good coffee flavor. I don't think it's overwhelming, but I think it is very, very, very prevalent. Extreme coffee flavor, one might say, if one were in a commercial. I'm one of those hip, young, old folks. It's extreme coffee flavor. It is. And I like it. I really like it. This is good. Others might not, though. And I could see that being the case for sure, because I know that that's not a taste profile that I share in common with a lot of folks. I really love the strong coffee flavor, and it seems that perhaps many folks just don't, and that's cool. If that's not what you're into, then this is not the beer you're going to want to drink. Plain and simple. It's a very, very coffee-ish beer. But to me, they got a good, maybe balance is the wrong word, but they got the flavors melded well. It's really not overly beery. It's got some beer flavor, but the main note is definitely the coffee, but I found it to be a good coffee. I think it worked quite well. I did notice when I took a swig out of the bottle, that definitely foamed it up a little bit inside. So it's got the capacity for a little bit stiffer of a head. Also, I think there was a touch of sediment, so maybe it could have been swirled a little at first. But of course, all that did was bring out more coffee flavor, which, again, was fine. It was great. I loved it. If you like a bold coffee beer, you're going to want to try it. If you don't, save your time and try something else that's more along your taste lines. No harm in that whatsoever. And that, brethren, is why we're here. I'm sharing what I think about things. I want to hear what you have to think about things. Everybody's tastes are different, and that's what makes all this beer tasting wonderful. So please, I encourage you, leave your comments. I want to hear about them. Hopefully other members of the community do as well. I will put a link. I've recently, I guess, started, because, haven't been doing this all that long thus far. I've been trying to get some links popped in, which is something that I was not doing at the beginning. Going to try to put some links so you guys can check out, where this stuff comes from. Again, the Central Waters Brewing Company makes some other real good stuff, and they're not too far from me right here. They're just up over the border into Wisconsin a little bit, up in the Madison-ish area, in Amherst. I hear tell they have an excellent brewery and tap room with tours available on the weekends. I haven't made it up there yet. I hope to at some point, because it is, you know, in my reasonable proximity. I can get there within a couple hours. And I encourage you guys, if you have the capacity, check them out as well. Looks real cool. MEJ's that supplies the coffee for this particular brew. They do a lot of other stuff, full line of coffees, and an actual restaurant at their roastery with food, desserts. I hear tell they do a good breakfast, which I'm all about. So check them out. Check out Central Waters Brewing Company. Check out MEJ's Coffee. Lots of good stuff up in that area as well. If you're familiar with the Madison area, man, you could make an entire vacation out of that. So check them out. Check out some of the other stuff I'm doing. If you really feel like it. You don't have to, but you could. Got some more stuff on the rest of the channel. Got some more of my beer reviews. Got my vape reviews on that series, on the Liquid Consideration series. Have some of my music, some of my handmade instruments, some of my art, some of whatever the heck strikes my fancy at the time. Please feel free to go check the rest of it out. Subscribe, like the video, comment on the video. I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on this beer and other beers. Other beers I've tried, suggestions for the future, go for it. And you know how it goes. We're going to see you again in the real near future.